Hello, it's another day, it's another episode. We're at Custom Race Tech again. The car has come back from the cage builder, so special news, and we're gonna have quite a new look onto the car, which I'm very excited for. Let's head on inside. Basically, so in the last episode we completely stripped the car, and Carl from Custom Race Tech brought the car to the cage builder. So in the meantime I came back. The only thing I do have to say is usually if you bring a car here and you want to get a build like this done, Carl takes care of everything. I mean, he did take care of everything here with the cage. So he chose which one and he made sure that it gets done in time and then it gets done the right way. So that is what was done here. I personally did a lot of work myself in preparing the cage because I wanted to, and I wanted to learn things, I wanted to try it out. And I really did learn a lot, and I also learned that it is one heck of a shitty job to get it all done. Yeah, and then when it came to painting the cage, Carl actually has a fantastic painter that takes care of everything, but he was completely booked and I didn't want to push my car in between his customer projects, so I took care of the painter, and unfortunately it turned out pretty bad. For the price I paid, I'm not happy with it. So when you do get a cage painted, do make sure that it is a good painter and that it is done correctly, which is what Carl usually does do, and he usually does take care of that. But again, in the prospect of this, we just wanted to get things along. That way we are able to build a car together quicker. So yeah, anyways, nevertheless, I'm still very happy with how the cage turned out. The cage is absolutely amazing, the welding quality. So this is a mega improvement on the car. So now I'm quickly gonna hand over the camera to David from Autospielen, who is kindly here, and he's kindly gonna help us film the cage. And we're gonna walk around the car a little bit and take a look. So, hi David. I'm gonna give you the camera quick. So, now let's take a quick look around the car and walk around. First of all, let's start at the front. The cage has a connection all the way to the front of the shock towers, which basically just improves the overall rigidity or the stiffness of the car and also the safety in the case of an accident. But because of this, there was a lot of welding going on here, so we did have to repaint about half of the engine bay. And this is where I'm mainly unhappy with the paint job, because the painter just painted over all screws, over all rubber grommets, so it's just a little bit rough. But I'm gonna end up cleaning this up a little bit, replacing the screws and the rubber bits, and then it'll look a bit cleaner. And then the interior, we painted a matte silver. I believe it's the BMW silver color A08, which is normally a metallic color, but we did sort of like a metallic matte, which I think is a very nice finish for the interior. Then the cage was welded to the A-pillar. We have a double cross side protection. We have one diagonal behind the seats. We have a cross member for the belts, which is especially necessary for driving the car on track. And what also has to be said, the whole cage was done after the German DMSB, so the German motorsport group. This car could theoretically participate in races. Then let's move on more back. Under the roof we have also a cross member for stiffness and also for safety. Then a big topic on the back is, especially in the E46, which is a big problem, is the ripping of the chassis on the rear, where the rear axle is mounted to the chassis. This has been taken care of, first of all, by the previous owner. He welded in plates between the axle basically and the chassis, which just stiffens the chassis. But on top of that, this cage now has pipes which are welded all the way down to where the axle is mounted. So you, first of all, cannot have more stiffness, and the typical problem with the E46 is completely eliminated. So yeah, then we have the cross member on the rear, and again the cage is also welded to the rear shock towers. So basically this is really what you want if you want to drive on track, because you have maximum safety and you have maximum stiffness for the car. You don't have any more of this body roll. Yes, it becomes a massive pain to get in the car, but then again, it's a hardcore track tool, so that's what it's there for. Yeah, so the cage, you can go a little bit further, you can get more cross members, you can go a little bit more extreme, but then the price just goes up massively. In this case, we paid around about between 4,000 to 5,000 euros, and basically to get a welding cage like this, you do start at least 4,000 euros, at least with this quality, because the welding really is the best, and the cage builder that Carl chose is really one of the best in Germany, if not Europe. So he definitely builds a lot of race cars. Then on top of that, the paint job, we basically painted the complete interior from the footwell or from the front, the roof all the way to the back, everything. So that's nice and clean, because we had a lot of rubber that was removed, a lot of glue and carpets and all of this nonsense, all stuff which we don't need for the track. And yeah, we could have gone a little bit more extreme here by cutting out the parcel shelf, which we didn't do, because I personally, if I do ever have a side impact, if you have all of the stiffness gone here, the car is just kind of going to collapse up here, which is not bad for safety because you have the cage, but in terms of just stiffness and just keeping this in one piece. And ultimately my goal is not to be the lightest E46 on the ring. So I decided to leave that in. I'm going to put a nice plate on there. And yeah, that is basically the cage. So I'm extremely happy with that. It was a big investment in the car, but definitely necessary. The car is never going to go back to being a normal car. But what also has to be said, this car is going to be road legal. So it's going to get TÜV in Germany. Carl's going to take care of that. So insurance is going to be no problem. I can drive around with it. I can also drive on track, and that's going to be good. So now that the car came back from the cage builder, I personally felt like I really went over a little bit of a bump, because before that it was just ripping everything out. Now we're slowly able to put things back together, especially a few things from the right-hand drive to left-hand drive conversion that I wasn't able to do before, because I just had to leave the car clean for the cage builder. So let's quickly jump around to the interior. So now in the interior, what we were able to do is put in the new dashboard holder, to which the steering column is also mounted, and most importantly the pedals. So what we did last time when we were taking the car apart is we looked what holes were where, and we copied them and put them in the right position and cut them here. And the reason we did that is obviously for the steering column, for the brake pedal, which goes to the brake booster, and for the clutch pedal. So this is all in place, it's all stiff, all pedals are here, and it all looks good. So we'll see what it feels like once the seat is in, but it should be identical to a left-hand drive car. So let's quickly jump to the front. Then here we've mounted the brake booster, here we've mounted the MK60 ABS or DSC module. Then here we have the steering rack going, or the steering column going to the steering rack, where we also put in new tie rods. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So we've pretty much completed the left-hand drive build. The second big step to completing the left-hand drive build is obviously doing the wiring harness, which honestly is still the biggest job ahead of me, because I just can't do wiring harnesses. I absolutely hate them. But yeah, this still is a big chapter and a big step, so I'm very happy. So the next episode will probably be on the Öhlin suspension, which we're going to put in next, and the episode after that, we'll see how it all works out, is going to be doing the wiring harness, and most importantly we're going to redo every single brake line on this car, because some of them are still copper, which is difficult for TÜV, and if I'm going to be pushing the car at the limit on track, I just want to know that the brakes are absolutely working. So that's going to be the next episode. So yeah, in this case, massive thank you to the guys at Custom Race Tech. Honestly, without them it would just not be possible, because I'm living and working 6 hours from here, and I just can't be here all of the time. They're helping me a lot whenever I'm here working on the car. They teach me a lot, they're always helpful. And especially to Carl for organizing all of this, for taking care of the cage, and for making sure it's top quality. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and make sure to watch the next episodes that are still coming. Thank you. forget, if you like track tools and if you like race cars, go check out David's videos. This is the guy from Autospielen. He's currently working on his E30. He's been very kind to help me with quite a bit of filming on my car. And his videos, honestly, the quality is absolutely mega. And the cars he films, I mean, they're all of the cars you see here. And they're built by several different workshops, let it be custom race, like whatever. And he does really nice features on the cars. So go check him out. I'll put the link down below.